Welcome to Peoria's Pulse, a program of news and information about the services, programs, and events going on this month in the city of Peoria. I'm Bo Larson, Public Information Manager for the city. In this episode of Pulse, you are going to learn more about some exciting upcoming events and cool things to check out. The baseball season may be over for most teams. The Arizona Fall Baseball League is still going strong at the Peoria Sports Complex. You'll learn more about the stars of the future and how it is so easy to see a potential Hall of Famer up close and personal. Peoria continues to grow its park and trail systems. Coming up, you're going to meet one of the leaders in the Community Services Department to learn more about new parks, trails, and the Vets Board. The City of Peoria's Sustain and Gain program received a sizable federal grant to help the city convert its lighting, cooling systems, and even power generation to a more sustainable practice. This community grant includes a fun educational outreach component as well. You'll learn more from one of the program's designers. If you're a person who wants to be more involved with city government or your homeowners association activities, or perhaps more involved with your child's school, but you don't know how to get started, learning from the experts is a good place to begin. If you haven't already done so, register for the second annual PACE conference, or Positive Action Through Civic Engagement. This year's keynote speakers include Dr. Michael Crow of ASU and the Mayor of Sacramento, California, former Phoenix Suns star Kevin Johnson. There are a host of state and national leaders on civic engagement in panel discussions on enhancing education, community action, and business and community engagement. This is a yearly event you don't want to miss. As you can see, there is a lot going on in Peoria. Before we learn more about these programs, let's take a look back at some of the recent events and activities that happened this month in Peoria. Being unemployed and looking for work can be a frightening experience. Hopefully, an event recently held at the Peoria Sports Complex relieves some of the anxiety associated with looking for a job. The Meet Your Next Employer Regional Job Fair was held at the complex on October 12th. More than 60 vendors and businesses with potential of 4,000 job offerings greeted job seekers. Besides businesses looking for new employees, the event provided job seekers an opportunity to learn new skills in resume writing, dressing for success, and interview skills. The regional job fair included West Valley cities and businesses from around the state.
The City of Peoria has partnered with all the surrounding cities and chambers to take a regional approach because we are very concerned about this situation. We are there for the people. We are offering over 60 employers with 3,400 positions available. We really want to get the Arizona people back to work and help them out in any way that we can.
You know, like a lot of people here, I'm really just looking for any job at all, but some of the ones that struck out to me particularly were a green taxi was hiring, as well as Arizona Department of Corrections. That looks like a fun one. There were hiring for police officers over in Peoria, firefighters, all sorts of different things.
There's plenty of employers here to give me something to go on before I leave.
Yes, it was a positive job fair for me.
Cities are here offering different positions within their city, particularly the police departments, and then it can range from hourly working. They've got seasonal with Macy's. There's a wide assortment, so we're hoping to fulfill everybody's needs.
Peoria has always been a city with a plan for growth. Prior to 2008, we were one of the fastest growing communities in Arizona and the nation. Even with an economic downturn, Peoria has been able to keep many plans in motion to attract new businesses. Recently, there was a special announcement made at Centennial Plaza about an industry leader coming to Peoria.
We are pleased to welcome Maxwell Technologies to Peoria and to the Valley. The West Valley is the perfect place for clean technology to take root. Technically skilled workers with expertise are in abundance. The opportunity for growth is phenomenal in the West Valley. We have a strong infrastructure for sustainability, for a workforce, and for livable communities, as well as for transportation and water. Jobs in industries such as clean technology will lead the way, and Peoria is happy to be the first in Arizona to say welcome.
You know, we couldn't be more pleased with the way we've been treated coming to the greater Phoenix area and specifically to Peoria. There's been a very high degree of professionalism, encouragement from the public officials, the business climate, and the inducements to get us here. Maxwell as a company has been in business over 50 years.
This is an innovative clean tech company. And when people talk about solar and renewables, and I think as the president was saying, everybody wants to have the conversation about Solyndra. We want to have the conversation about Maxwell Technologies. That's what we want to do.
So make no mistakes, this is a great day because we're doing things in a far-reaching way technologically, but we're doing them in a prudent and in a wise stewardship fashion. I'm excited about that. But right now it's about significant jobs with significant pay, and we are very fortunate, blessed to be able to have Maxwell choose Peoria, choose the state of Arizona collectively.
That is exciting news about Maxwell Technologies moving here. Now, where their new office will be located near the Rio Vista Community Center, employees can ride their bikes to work if they chose to on the new expanded New River Trail. Running north and south along parts of the New River, the bike, hike, and walking trail is 9.5 miles of uninterrupted enjoyment.
It was the official opening of the New River Trail system, and in true Peoria fashion, the community came out to celebrate and enjoy this incredible trail that has been 15 years in the making.
It's 9.5 miles in length, but it's also an uninterrupted ride. And what I mean by that is we've built underpasses under our roads, so as people are riding up and down our trail system today, they don't have to have any interference.
The New River Trail is designed for walkers, joggers, strollers, bicyclists, rollerblades, equestrians, and of course, man's best friend. It's for all to enjoy without the worry of busy intersections.
Oh, I like this trail a lot. I really like it that we don't have to cross the main roads. This is where we always try to ride, is just on these trails. Avoid the cars, just stop at the parks, stop and get a drink.
This trail is yet another example of Peoria City Council working with its citizens to meet community needs.
Yeah, this is only maybe a quarter of a mile from my house. So I don't have to get on any streets to get here, and I can ride all the way to 59th and Union Hills, I think, without ever having to set foot on a street.
Convenience isn't all that makes this beautiful trail special.
The uniqueness of our river corridor. It's a natural wash. There's a lot of native habitat that live and exist in the wash. We have a lot of flora and fauna that are in the bottom of the river.
It's all about the ambiance and the fun factor.
There's a bunch of bridges, downhill, uphills, and there's some places to sit. It's awesome because it's fun and it's good for your body.
Come out and use the trail. It's a fun place to be.
So if you want to burn some calories or just relax and enjoy the blissful surroundings, visit the New River Trail and experience the difference. For more information on Peoria's trail system, check out our website.
Well, I'm here now with Kirk Haines, the park manager for the city of Peoria. Welcome, Kirk.
Thank you, Bo.
Now, we just saw a great package on the New River Trail, and you were in that, but tell me a little bit about the new trail and what it means for Peoria.
Well, we're looking at a couple of things going on with this. Actually, one of the goals that we're trying to accomplish is to get people out and utilize it as a recreational trail, but it also moves us to some of the businesses that exist within our community. So we're trying to promote some of those locations along the way so people can pedal to their favorite restaurant, or if they happen to work at those places, they can also pedal and utilize an alternate means of transportation to get there. So we're pretty excited about making the connections all the way north and south into our community.
Now, is the trail done? There's some more to do, right?
The trail is done for about 9.5 miles. We've got another mile to go to the south to get us to the very southern boundary of Peoria. And we've actually been talking with Glendale to connect into their community and continue the extension southward. As far as going north, we have immediate plans to continue the trail north another couple miles. And when I say immediate, a couple years down the road, but there are expectations and we're moving forward to develop the trail system to tie more communities and more citizens into the trail system.
Now, that's just one of the parks that Peoria has built recently or completed recently, but we've had other parks that we've just finished and more on the books. Can you talk a little more about that?
Yeah, a lot of construction activity is going on within the Parks and Recreation Department. We just completed a 4-acre site up in the Terramar subdivision, Palo Verde Park, cultural site, so we're excited about that. The neighborhood is very excited about that opening up. We have 2 more parks that we're in the process of building right now that will hopefully open by the end of the year. The first one is in the Vistancia neighborhood. It's adjacent to Lake Pleasant Elementary School called Westland Park. And we have another construction park project going on near the New River Trail. It'll actually be utilized as a trailhead for the New River Trail in the Grand Avenue area. The name of the park is Scotland Yard Park, and that's expected to be completed also by the end of the year. And there's other plans for other parks also moving on. We have another community park being planned and in design currently at 83rd and Olive Avenue, and another neighborhood park up by the Sunrise Branch Mountain Library.
Now, we're pretty fortunate in Peoria to have parks, on the drawing boards, aren't we?
By comparison of other communities, they've kind of shut down or stalled out on some of their capital projects. City Council has been extremely supportive of our program and has continued on with those particular projects. I think the key to it is having funds available to take care of them once they're built. So those two have matched up and the support has been there, so we're excited to get them done and meeting some of our community's needs and their expectations.
Yeah. Well, there's something about the parks in Peoria that are above and beyond many parks in their region. So, you have to thank you and your team for really keeping them up and beautiful, and thank the City Council as well of having the foresight to say parks are an important piece of what makes a good community.
Absolutely. Quality of life is a very important element within our city.
Yeah. Now, on another topic, but yet it's a topic that's near and dear to you, you're on the Vets Board. And can you explain what the Veterans Board is all about and Peoria's involvement?
Yes, I'm the staff liaison for the Veterans Memorial Board. We have a memorial up at Rio Vista Community Park that we're looking at trying to grow and promote some of the recognition and contributions of veterans who have served in our community. The Veterans Board is established by citizens within our community and looking at providing services and recognition to the veterans who have served our country currently and in past. So we're looking at trying to promote that type of activity and that recognition for the veterans of our city in Peoria.
Now, some of the programs associated with the Veterans Board, how do veterans find out more about what's going on?
There's a couple of things. We're in the process of developing a web page, so if they go to the www.peoriaz.gov website here in a few weeks, we'll have a new web page up and running that actually outlines all the things that our Veterans Memorial Board is doing. The other thing that they can do is come to an event on Saturday, November 5th. We actually have a Veterans Recognition Day event and a 5K run planned for that day. The run starts at 7:30 in the morning. We have an activity called Breakfast with the Mayor where we're serving free pancake breakfast to anybody that comes out to Rio Vista Community Park at the Recreation Center and have a free breakfast. And then we have a Field Days event. We're going to have different military equipment from the National Guard and from former wars. We have some Jeeps, old-time Jeeps that are going to be coming out from World War II and from the Korean War time period. We also have our Peoria Police Department. They'll have their exhibition out there, as well as the Peoria Fire Department and some other miscellaneous activities. So it ought to be a very fun morning. We're really excited and looking forward to bringing that to the community.
There's always something going on in Peoria. I know when we talk about different programs on this show, it's always dealing with Parks and Rec. I know in our office when we send out information to the media, about 90% of it is dealing with the activities going on through community services and parks in particular. So I have to thank you for not sleeping and just just doing lots of work.
I think our goal is to have something for everyone, something for interest for everyone in our community. As I mentioned earlier, quality of life is extremely important, not only to us, to the citizens, to our council, but it's an important value that we hold dear. Thank you.
Well, thank you for being here, and we'll be back right after this. From trails now to the baseball diamonds. Here now with Chris Isom, Sports Complex Manager for the City of Peoria. Welcome, Chris.
Thank you.
Baseball is, at this time of year, it's World Series. But of course, in Peoria, we are dealing with baseball year-round, it seems like. What's going on right now at the Sports Complex?
We've definitely got a lot of baseball. It's actually on a usage format. It's a lot busier than it is during spring training. Obviously, spring training, we have the crowds, upwards of 9,000 or 10,000 people. But now is when we play on all the games on the field. So I think throughout the month of October, we play, believe it or not, over 700 games on the practice fields in the stadium. and we're talking youth tournaments, obviously Arizona Fall League, which is hot and heavy right now, adult baseball. We've got MSBL World Series in right now, so we put a beating to the field for sure. Our grounds guy doesn't like us too much this month.
How do you, it takes an army pretty much to keep those fields looking at professional level, doesn't it?
It does. You know, there's struggles sometimes with staffing. Different people have different schedules, but it always seems to come together in the end. You know, once we play our last game in November, you'll look at the fields and say, wow, how are they going to get ready for spring training? But magically, you know, January rolls around and everything's bright green.
So what is it about the sports complex that really is a mecca for baseball in the Valley? I mean, because there's plenty of spring training sites around the Valley, but they don't seem to have as much going on with other baseball, like you said, from high school, colleges, to even Fall League Pro, as much as we do.
Yeah, you know, our philosophy there is it's always been to book as much as we can and have it make sense, and in the long run, hopefully make some decent revenue off of it. We try to get in all the different sectors, youth, adult, pro, and right now it's just a great example of we have all those things going on right now.
So as a fan of baseball, you know, it's real easy to say, well, I can watch baseball on TV and get my fill, but what makes it so special to come out and watch when you may be one of even 50 people in the stands? You know, why do you come out and watch this?
You know, I'll use Fall League as an example. Fall League, there are a lot of top prospects that you'll probably see in the big leagues one day. I was looking at a stat the other day that said 60% of the players that play in the Fall League eventually make it to the major leagues. That number is really high. Usually the percentage of minor league baseball as a whole, I think, is under 10%. So you know you're going to see the stars of tomorrow, really.
This is the cream of the crop for the leagues they're trying to develop.
Yeah, I mean, you know, they've had guys, they've had your Chris Carpenters, your Albert Pujols. They're inducting Ryan Howard and Paul Konerko into the Hall of Fame this year. So they've had the big names. And you know, to come into the Fall League and pay $6 for your ticket and be, like you said, one of possibly 50, but they're actually drawing better this year. It's a pretty good experience, and hopefully the weather, being it's the fall, is great too.
So if you're into baseball, you know, this is the best time of year to go out, be up close to the field, see the future stars, and get the autographs. I mean, because they're really loose. They're playing serious baseball, but they also know that they have time to spend with people and with each other out there. And so for the high school and college players and the teams that come, you're getting teams that come back year after year. What about the experience that Peoria offers that brings these teams back?
You know, also along with Fall League, this time brings a lot of teams in from outside of Arizona, which from an economic standpoint, it's awesome because, for instance, last week we had a tournament that had 61 teams play in it. 53 of them were from out of state.
Wow. So
the restaurants and the hotels across the way are just packed the whole time the tournament's going on. And in the long run, because we have that development around the ballpark, that kind of puts us above a lot of the other spring training sites here. A lot of them have had the idea to do that, but many of the cities haven't had that development yet. So we're lucky to be where we are right now as far as the development around the ballpark.
Yeah, the Economic Development Department is thankful every day that there's already so much developed around the sports complex that they can even grow from there. You're absolutely right. Other cities dream of having the type of situation we're in.
We're the model, I think.
And our relationship with the Padres and Mariners, good for another 20 years or so, it sounds like, huh?
We're hoping. You know, the parties haven't signed the dotted line yet, but we're hopefully heading in that direction. It's been a good relationship so far, and hopefully it can still be another long relationship for us, them, and the city.
Well, I hope so too. Chris, thank you very much for joining us today. And you know, the sports complex is so important to not only the economy of the city of Peoria, but also part of the culture We do an awful lot based around the sports complex and that entertainment district. And if you haven't had a chance to go see some of the events, and it's not just baseball coming up, there's also a Halloween bash, there's other events that go on there all the time. And some exciting news we hope to talk about down the road here as well of new things coming to the ballpark or the complex. So if you get a chance, stop off at the sports complex, see what it's all about. Come to spring training if you haven't been yet and soak up the rays and see all the people from all over the country that are checking out what their team's going to be like this year, because it really is a good time in Peoria. So we'll be right back right after this. We're back now with Mindy Russell. She's part of our budget management department, but she also has another role in the city, and it's dealing with our Sustain and Gain program, but more importantly, a special program, community outreach, for a grant that we received from the federal government. So, Mindy, nice to have you on the show. And
Thank you, Bo.
And tell us a little bit about what I was just talking about.
Sure. In December of 2009, the city was awarded a grant by the federal government, by the Department of Energy specifically, and this was a grant in the amount of about $1.3 million, and a portion of that grant was dedicated to education and outreach, and the grant was called the Energy Efficiency and Conservation Block Grant.
That's why I asked you to explain
Right,
it.
that's a mouthful. And so the whole idea of the grant is to keep the city more sustainable and more energy efficient, and the portion of education for that grant is to help our citizens to become more educated on how they can save money and save energy in their homes.
Now, a big part of the education or community outreach is not just when you say citizens, but it's also to the youth. What type of programs do we have?
Correct. We have some great programs for our kids. We have contracted with a company who developed some energy or some activity booklets for our kids, and they also have a magic show that goes along with that. And they go out into our elementary schools and preschools, and they do this great little magic show. The kids love it. It's a lot of fun to watch them, and so they actually learn a lot about energy efficiency while they're having fun. And then they have these booklets to take home, and part of the booklets, one of the pages in the booklet is an energy checklist that they can do with mom and dad. And so they can go through the house and check different ways where they can be more energy efficient in their homes. So mom and dad are also learning along with the kids, which is great.
Or being driven nuts by the kids.
Absolutely, because you know what? Once these kids get something in their head,
yeah,
then they don't let go. Yeah. And they're like little sponges. They just soak it up, they love it, and they do apply it in their everyday lives. In fact, my grandson just the other day was on his computer. He has a little laptop computer, and he got ready to go to bed. And he says, Grandma, I'm going to unplug it from the wall now so I don't waste energy. So I thought, wow, he's in first grade.
Wow.
So he already has the message, which is terrific.
And it's those little things like that save so much money around a home, but also around a city.
That's
what are
correct.
some of the, I'll call them the adult programs that you have?
Some of the adult programs we have coupons in our local newspaper, the Peoria Times, and our citizens can cut out those coupons, take them to one of our libraries, and they can exchange the coupon for a free CFL light bulb.
Oh, okay.
And they also at the same time can check out what we call a kilowatt meter. It's a little device that they can plug into the wall and plug any appliance or lamp or any electrical device into that kilowatt meter, and it will tell them exactly how much energy that particular device is using. So it's really informative for them. They can find out, well, gosh, this refrigerator that's 20 years old is really taking a lot of energy, so maybe based on the information that we received from the city of Peoria on energy efficient appliances, we can go to our appliance store, we can find an Energy Star appliance, and we can save a lot of money that way.
Do they get some discounts as well through some of the stores?
Not that I'm aware of, okay. Not as a result of our education, but they do realize the savings just the minute they plug it in. They're using less energy.
But you also have some displays that go around the city and demonstrate.
We do. We have a great display that's currently in our City Hall lobby, and it will travel around to various buildings in the city. But it's a wooden display that has windows. That there are 3 different types of windows. We have a less energy efficient window. We have one that's a little bit more efficient. It's dual pane with the argon gas inside of it. And then we have another window that's dual pane, argon gas, and vinyl frame.
Oh.
So our residents can actually go up, put their hand, we have light bulbs behind each of those glasses, and they can put their hand up and feel the difference. And that's the amount of heat that is not coming into their homes. With the more energy efficient window, they're going to realize less heat coming in, and that's going to save on their energy bill.
So and you said that's at City Hall.
That's at City Hall currently, and another portion of that display is 3 different light bulbs. And there's an incandescent bulb, which is what a lot of us have in our homes. Then we have a CFL bulb, which is one of those little curlicue bulbs. And then we have an LED bulb, which is a light emitting diode bulb. Those are the most energy efficient, and they also last the longest. And so the window panes are designed to show you how much heat is emitted by each of those bulbs. And also we have a little energy meter on each one to show how much energy each one of them is using. So it's a very educational display, and it's a hands-on display. We actually have hand decals on the windows to tell them that they need to just go ahead and put their hand up there
it's safe to
and
do.
feel
Yeah.
it. It is safe to do it, and we don't frown on it, and kids love it too.
And so you've already done quite a few shows in the schools, some of the magic shows
We
and
have.
stuff, yeah. And are adults, the parents coming to it and having questions for you after the show, or?
The adults haven't come to those shows in the elementary schools because they're typically during the day when mom
Okay.
and dad are at work. But we did have an event, a city-sponsored event this past weekend, and we had a lot of the kids, or we had 2 magic shows at that event. So a lot of the parents were able to see the show then, which is great.
That's good.
Kids loved it. The parents loved it. The kids got their little activity booklets afterwards, and adults were able to pick up their energy-efficient light bulbs from our display.
It sounds like it's almost the tip of the iceberg of so many things that the city has going on with our community outreach.
Oh, absolutely. We still have a lot more things planned to do. We have a presence at all of our city events where we give out the energy-efficient light bulbs. We have a display showing the different energy-efficient devices they can use at home. For instance, they can plug all of their computer peripherals into a power strip. And when they get ready to go to bed at night, they can flip that strip off, and then those computers and printers and everything else are not using energy through the night. Because even when they're turned off, they're still using energy unless they're unplugged or on a power strip that's turned off. So these are things that people aren't necessarily aware of. We're trying to educate them on that. And so that's one device they can use at home to save energy. We also have programmable thermostats. So that will keep their air conditioning just a little bit warmer during the day, and then before they come home at night, it'll automatically turn their thermostat down a little bit and cool it off before they get home.
A lot of things going on in the city.
A lot of great things.
And this is this community outreach program. It really is just a small piece of a much larger bit of programming that we're doing throughout the city. Not necessarily all community outreach, but in cost savings that we're doing, energy savings for the city. I know just in changing more than 2,400 light bulbs at parks and along our streets and stuff, we've saved, I saw a number, about $193,000 over the past 2 years. And it's a commitment that the city is very proud to be following up on. So we'll have more information and stories about this as future Pulse shows go on. But Mindy, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Where can people find more information online?
They can actually go to our website, go to the City of Peoria website, and go to the sustainability area. They can see it actually, there's a little button on the website, and just click on that. We have all kinds of information on energy efficiency, and it tells all about the different things that we've done as a city to become more efficient with our energy usage. And there's just a wealth of information on that website.
Wonderful. Well, Mindy, thank you very much, and we look forward to having you back.
Thank you very much.
Well, that's our show for this month. I hope you liked it and found it informative. We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question about what you saw here today on Pulse, or you have an idea, send us a note at news@peoriaaz.gov. So, from all of us here at Peoria TV Channel 11, I'm Bo Larson. Thanks for watching.